Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Monday edition of Source 16 News. I'm Eddie Owen. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news, due to a national salt supply shortage, Kentucky highway crews will be conserving salt until inventories recover from a spike in demand nationwide. Transportation Cabinet spokesman Keith Todd talked with Source 16 today about the inventory shortage in District 1 and 2.
District 1 has a storage capacity of about 20,000 tons. They have about 5,000 tons available. We have a little over 20,000 tons of storage in District 2. That is down to about 25% of capacity. We have made special arrangements to order some salt through a supplier in Chicago. Each of the districts is getting about 5,000 tons. That would normally be a week or so supply depending on the severity of the storm. We're really fortunate right now that we don't have any snow in the long-range forecast until about February the 1st. So that gives us about a week of breathing room here to get in some deliveries.
He says typically after a snowfall, they do an inventory of how much salt has been used, and then they immediately send in an order to replace it. However, Todd says in recent weeks, deliveries have taken longer to come in and have arrived in smaller quantities than ordered. Meanwhile, due to the lag in resupplying salt inventory, crews plan to work in conservation mode.
I'm not sure how that might impact pre-treating, but what it may essentially mean is that we may not do as much pre-treating, or we may hold off on pre-treating depending on what each snow and ice event looks like as it comes in. It's going to be kind of an individual thing depending on the temperatures that are coming at us and how much snow is coming at us. Normally we get about 3-inch snowfalls per year for a total of about 10.5 inches, and I haven't looked lately, but I'm pretty sure that we're over the 10.5 inches for this year.
In addition, Tennessee Department of Transportation officials have announced that their highway crews would be conserving salt over the next few weekends also until new deliveries arrive. Nearly 1,000 Fort Campbell soldiers are scheduled to return this week to the local Army post from their year-long deployments in Afghanistan. About 290 soldiers from the 3rd Brigade Combat Team will be returning Wednesday morning, and 200 soldiers from the same brigade are scheduled to return Friday morning. Meanwhile, over 400 soldiers assigned to the local post 717th Ordnance Company, 184th Ordnance Battalion, 52nd Ordnance Group, and soldiers from the 3rd Brigade Combat Team are scheduled to return Saturday in 3 separate flights. According to military officials, roughly 17,000 Fort Campbell soldiers remain deployed and are scheduled to return to the post this summer. Well, the Pennyrile Regional Citizens Corps Council received praise today. Guest speaker and Regional Response Manager of Kentucky's Emergency Management Region 2, Vicki Martin, praised the council for their dedication and hard work in making a strong team.
But I feel like even though they're a larger region, I feel like you all are hitting this out of the park. You really are. I'm amazed at your dedication. There are so many of you I see out there, and I see you in meetings and trainings and things, and you're wearing 4 different hats.
The Pennyrile Regional Citizens Corps Council supports multiple programs for readiness within the Pennyrile region, including Neighborhood Watch, Community Emergency Response Teams, Disaster Animal Response Teams, and the Regional Medical Reserve Corps. Murray State University plans to build a basketball practice facility attached to the CFSB Center. Funding for the facility comes from proceeds generated by Community Financial Services Bank's $3.3 million donation to rename the Regional Special Events Center. MSU Athletic Director Alan Ward says constructing the facility is a commitment to the school's expectations for the basketball program. Ward went on to say, "We have a very nice facility, but it's a multi-purpose facility and there are lots of events that go on there." He adds, "We just want to make sure that our coaches and players have every opportunity to practice throughout the year, and this facility will allow that to happen." The current plan is to build the addition on the north side of the CFSB Center along Highway 121. If everything goes as planned under the aggressive timetable, the facility would be ready for use by the 2012 fall semester. Mayfield Mayor Teresa Cantrell and Graves County Judge Executive Tony Smith will be the guest speakers at tomorrow's Mayfield Graves County Chamber of Commerce's Eggs and Issues quarterly breakfast. Cantrell and Smith will be speaking on the state of the city and the county. Sponsors for the agricultural breakfast are Jackson Purchase ACA, Mayfield Grain Company Incorporated, Pilgrims, and Precision Management and Consulting. The sponsors will give a short presentation and have their merchandise and various materials available. Sedalia Restaurant will cater the meal. The breakfast will be held at 7:30 at the First Presbyterian Church Ministry Center on 9th and Broadway. Well, the trial of a former Fort Campbell soldier charged with raping and murdering a 23-month-old toddler in February 2009 was scheduled to get underway today in Montgomery County, Tennessee, but it has since been rescheduled. 22-year-old Joshua Ryan Starner was indicted on charges of felony murder, aggravated rape, and aggravated child abuse. According to the indictment, Starner allegedly caused serious bodily injury to 23-month-old Keegan Andrew Metz and killed the toddler while perpetrating a felony. The arrest report stated that Starner's wife left Keegan with Starner at their apartment for a couple of hours while she went to the store. When she returned, Keegan was in his bed unresponsive. The toddler was taken to Vanderbilt Medical Center in Nashville, where he died the next day due to brain swelling. The trial was postponed because the district attorney's office is still conducting interviews with medical personnel pertaining to the case. The new trial date is set for July 18th. A meth lab at a home on Dawson Springs Road was shut down over the weekend, and 3 individuals inside the residence are behind bars facing charges. When the Christian County Sheriff's Department went to 4260 Dawson Springs Road to serve a warrant, deputies reportedly smelled a strong odor of starting fluid coming from the home. Deputies arrested and charged 28-year-old James DeCoursey and 28-year-old Lindsay DeCoursey, who also has an alias of Lindsay Clan, who both lived at the home for manufacturing methamphetamine, possession of anhydrous ammonia, and other meth-related charges. A third person, 27-year-old John Linton of Cadiz, was charged with possession of marijuana and reportedly told police he was there to smoke pot and had no knowledge of any of the other activities going on at the home. All 3 subjects were booked into the Christian County Jail. A 21-year-old Cadiz woman was injured Saturday morning when her vehicle flipped over in Caldwell County, according to Kentucky State Police. Brittany Hampton was driving north on Kentucky 139, the Princeton Road, around 11:30, when about 7 miles from Princeton, her vehicle dropped off the shoulder of the road. As she was trying to regain control, state police say she overcorrected, causing her vehicle to run off the road and overturn. State Police news release does not show whether emergency personnel responded to the scene or if Hampton was transported to a hospital. With time running out for candidates to file for the May primary election, economic development leader and conservative activist Hilda Legg has filed her papers seeking the Republican nomination for Secretary of State. Legg, a native of rural Adair County, has managed several complex organizations dedicated to improving people's lives, from the Center for Rural Development in Somerset to her recent tenure as administrator of the United States Department of Agriculture Rural Utilities Service in Washington, D.C. This is Legg's first run for public office, and she says she looks forward to this new challenge as a statewide candidate, traveling the Commonwealth and listening to the concerns of her fellow Kentuckians. Legg is a graduate of both Campbellsville University and Western Kentucky University in Bowling Green. To date, the only other Republican to run for the seat is Bill Johnson of Elkton, who submitted his candidacy papers in November. 2 Democrats, Allison Lundergan Grimes of Lexington, filed her papers last Thursday, and current Secretary of State Elaine Walker of Bowling Green filed on January 12th. Walker was recently appointed as Secretary of State by Governor Steve Beshear after Trey Grayson announced he was resigning from the position. Well, with prom season right around the corner, girls are beginning to look for that perfect formal dress. Ciobros Formals in Princeton celebrated the grand opening of their new prom floor Saturday and kicked off the event with designer Tony Bowles, who flew in from California.
The most valuable tool for me as a designer is getting to come into the retail shops like Ciobros and experience and get to meet the consumers that actually are wearing my dresses in order to designing going forward for 2012, if you will, even though this is barely 11. Seeing what they like and don't like, because you certainly don't want to keep producing dresses that they don't want.
The grand opening featured runway walks by Miss Kentucky USA, Kia Hampton, and Miss Teen Kentucky USA, Stephanie Jones. As the Ziobros Formal celebrates their 20th year in business, owner Tina Ziobro says that her new prom floor offers an enormous selection of dresses for whatever the occasion.
It gives a different effect. We can play the music that they like. They get the feel. It's an experience that they're having. It's an experience of shopping, and that's what girls love.
Ziobros is also the official dress sponsor of Miss Kentucky USA and Miss Teen Kentucky USA. Well, here's a look at some upcoming chamber events brought to you by the Hopkinsville Chamber or Christian County Community Vision Plan. This is the last week to nominate a business or organization for the Small Business Awards. The deadline for nominations is Friday, January 28th. The breakfast will be held Tuesday, February 15th at 7:30 a.m. at the James E. Bruce Convention Center and is sponsored by New Wave Communications, Source16. The next Regional Education Summit is quickly approaching. The Education Summit will be held Saturday, February 5th from 8 a.m. until noon at Hopkinsville Community College. To register for the summit, visit hopkinsvilleky.us/Ed Summit. And the Chamber of Commerce Military Affairs Committee is planning its annual Citizens for Fort Campbell trip to Washington for March 1st through March 3rd. If you are interested, contact Kelly Pendleton, 270-885-9096, or by email at kpendleton@hopkinsvillechamber.com. These chamber events are brought to you by the Hopkinsville Christian County Vision Plan. Get ready. Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is $63 million. Wednesday's Powerball jackpot is $20 million.